Hello students, and welcome to American History 2020, American History from 1877 to the modern era. My name is Professor Lajeunesse, and I will be the one that will be guiding you and instructing you throughout the length of this course. I look forward to working with you guys, giving you feedback, and going through a couple different ways of how we're going to learn. This class is going to be made up of a number of different assignments. We'll go over each of those and kind of ensure your success, okay? So really pay attention to the aspects of this video that are going to assist you in order to be successful. One of the key things about my course is that if you do the work, you'll pass. So just make sure you guys are really focused on keeping up with the work and getting it done on time. We have a good 16 weeks on this course, so there's plenty of time for you to get through it all. Throughout this course, what we're going to be looking at is numerous eras that impact the development of what we see as the modern America. We start off talking about eras such as the Gilded Age, where we look at industrialization and the impact that urbanization has. We then move on to American imperialism, focus in on America's role during World War I, our growth in the 1920s, the Great Depression in the 1930s. We discuss World War II. We'll discuss the Cold War at different points. We'll talk about social revolutions in the 1960s and 80s, and then finally we will talk about the 1980s and 1990s and how they are really impacted how we look at modern America. We'll have a short section at the end of it too that will cover about the last 20 years of American history. Historians are still working their way through them, so we don't have like a defined set of information yet to really interpret and analyze. So we'll cover that too though, and we'll go over some of the modern viewpoints as to what is being discussed, okay? Now, every week you are going to have a set amount of textbook readings. For the most part, they're going to be just one chapter that you need to read. Some cases you'll have multiple chapters, so you may have 2 chapters a week. Either way, just make sure you keep up on the textbook reading. It's not incredibly long. Also, you're going to have additional readings that will be assigned each week too. Those additional readings will be a number of historical papers, ways for you to better understand of how a historian sees history and how they understand it. So one of the things that we're going to do when we look at how historians look at history is we're going to move that into an assignment that will also help you analyze information and documents that will ultimately help you out when you enter into the workforce too. So there's a reason and rationale behind me teaching you all these different skills, okay? So make sure though that you are reading those additional articles. Both the information from your textbook and those additional articles will show up on your tests of each week, okay? So let's talk about assignments. That's what lots of people want to know about, so let's just get into it. First and foremost, you're going to have 14 unit quizzes, and those are going to be anywhere from 20 to 40 questions, depending on overall how much reading is assigned for the week. Usually each chapter gets about 10 to 15 questions, and then the additional readings can be 5 to 10 questions. Just depends. But with those tests, understand most of them will have, if they're 20 questions, they'll have a 1 hour time limit. When they go up, there'll be additional time allotted. But these tests are a one-time test. That means you get one shot at it. Make sure you use the time. The reason why I've had to turn it off from multiple options to take it is because people were cheating off of each other. So we're going to just stick now with just a one-time test. But you guys will do well as long as you're reading. Take some good notes, okay? Make sure you have all your information pulled up when it comes time for that test. You can use notes, whatever you want, okay? You can do the test up till the end of the week. You will also have a midterm test, which will be 50 questions, and you'll have a final test, which probably are going to be close to 50 to 75 questions. I might add a reading element to it yet. I'm not quite sure yet. But if I do add a reading level, just understand I'll give you ample time to be able to accomplish what you need to do on it, okay? After we talk about tests and everything, we are going to have 2 video assignments. The video assignments are pretty open. When you look through your information, when you pull up my class, you're going to have detailed instructions on how to do each of these assignments. I will also do a separate video to kind of go over them a little bit to give you a better idea of what I'm looking for, because there's often some confusion with it. But I give you guys a lot of latitude to be able to explore topics that you're interested in, and I'd really like to make sure that you have the opportunity to create videos like that. You'll also be required to comment on your peers' videos too and talk to them about what you like or what you didn't like. The other thing is that there is what are called 2 primary source reviews that will be in this course, okay? These primary source reviews, I'm going to give you the option to choose between 3 primary source, either articles or in some cases chapters of a book or an actual book itself. When it's an actual book, it's a pretty short book. I'm not going to make you read like a 500-page book and give me feedback on it, okay? I'll kind of go over that more in depth, but understand that each of those primary source texts are going to be available at the start of the course. You will not have your first one until week 5 that you need to respond to, but I highly encourage you that you start reading on those and analyzing them immediately. So when it comes time for week 5, that you'll be able to put all your information quickly in there and be able to respond to your peers, okay? They are not going to be as hard as they seem. They look really difficult. Like I said, I'll do a walkthrough of kind of what I'm going to be looking for when we're analyzing these types of text, okay? You are going to have a final paper. Your final paper just needs to deal with something from 1877 to the modern era. It's going to be a topic of your choice. One thing, again, I'm going to make another video on this just so you guys know what I'm looking for. Be very specific about it. The key thing to writing your final paper, which is going to be 6 to 8 pages, is finding the proper topic. And when I'm talking about proper topic, we are going to deep dive into a specific item that you want to research. I do not want a history of World War II in 6 to 8 pages. I do not want a history of the space race in 6 to 8 pages. I want you to focus on a narrow aspect of maybe one of those topics, okay? That way you flesh out a fully developed paper that is something that you can be proud of and show off your technical writing skills in history. The main reason why I want to go over also writing, we're going to have a whole unit on writing, is to ensure you understand how to structure a paper and all the elements that should exist within that paper, okay? Your deadlines, they're going to be at the end of each Saturday of the week. So at 11:59 p.m., if you don't have it turned in and it hits midnight, it is late, okay? For each 5 days that your assignment is late, I will take 10% off of the total grade, which means if you did an assignment and you would have gotten an 80 on it and it was 10 days late, you have lost 20 points. So now you're at a 60 on it, okay? So make sure you just turn everything on time. I do understand that life happens, but make sure you are continuously working and do not get behind, because you will soon get buried with too much work and you'll get overwhelmed, okay? Lastly, there is a final deadline for all of your work. Your final deadline is December 3rd. I'm going to make that clear, December 3rd. After December 3rd, because I'm teaching 4 courses this term, I cannot accept any papers after that, because I will have to be grading final papers, providing feedback on final papers. I will have to be grading written portions of tests. I will have to be reviewing and going over other people's document analysis. I will have to be reviewing over other people's discussion boards for that final 2 weeks. So anything that you've missed up to that point needs to be in by December 3rd. That's your cutoff time, okay? December 3rd. Do not forget that. Do not send me an email December 4th, 5th, or 6th, or any other time after that and be like, can I make this up? Because the answer is going to be no, because I've now given you a very definitive deadline, okay? Hit that deadline. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It makes my life a little bit easier, but it ensures that I can give you guys adequate grading and feedback as you need it, okay? So that's kind of the general overview of the course of what we're going to be looking at this term. Again, I'm going to cover a number of other things that are going to go along with this course in separate videos, just to ensure you have full clarity as to what I'm expecting, and I'll provide some examples to help you out too, okay? I look forward to teaching you guys. I'm more than willing to give you feedback. If you have any questions, let me know. That way I can ensure that you are set up for success in this course, okay? I appreciate it, and you guys have yourself a good term.